Hey, everybody. I think that I am hanging out with someone that does not need an introduction, but I do want to make note that he's not just talking to me because, well, he thinks I'm a cool guy. No, he's got something to talk about. Actually, the Berglund Center, Roanoke, April 13th. He is going to be there. The one and only Joe Gatto. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you. I was actually just coming to hang out, but yeah, we can talk
Oh,
about it.
I mean, if you want to hang out, let's hang out. Like, how's life been treating you? What's the last movie you saw, bro?
uh, oh, I love that.
Oh man.
I just rewatched I just watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels on the plane when
Oh,
I was flying to back from Las Vegas, which was a classic, and I can't believe what a good movie that is. Steve Martin is just amazing in
oh my
it.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned her before we started recording. My fiance, she has just started getting into the Steve Martin train because of Only Murders in the Building.
So great.
Oh yeah,
Such a great show. Oh, them,
yeah.
Selena. I mean, what a dynamic the three of them have. It's such a good show.
It really is. It's like Selena was like you knew Steve and Martin had it, and then
Yeah.
Selena just
She's
is.
the perfect. I can't see anybody else doing that. What she's done. She's so perfect in that. And she's so great. Just a
Yeah,
big fan of her anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's all right. I'm a little geeking out at this moment because
Selena's
seriously.
actually opening for me at my show in Roanoke.
Oh, that's why I was geeking out because I was going to ask how did that come about, but yeah, you are coming to Roanoke on April 13th. Tickets are on sale now, but you're bringing your one night of comedy show, and just what should we expect on this night? What is Joe Gatto bringing for 1 hour?
I bring at least 5 to 10 laughs. That's guaranteed when you walk in the door. You get those, so that's included in the ticket price. It's a lot of me. I mean, people come out. I've been performing live for a long time now, as you know, with the boys, and now I had to share the stage with four guys, so I only had to bring 25% of the funny. But now it's all on me, so it's more about like what makes me tick, stories of my life growing up, things about my crazy Italian mother, and how she molded me to the gentleman you see before you, and things about like parenthood, and of course ways to mess with people. It's really a mixed bag, but it's definitely a good time where I get to spend some time in front of the fans, with the fans who've been so supportive, and we all get to laugh together in a time when we all need it, including myself. So it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned needing to laugh and things like that. Like coming out of COVID, I've
Yeah.
been to shows like this since that, and I gotta say, there's something different about the crowds post COVID. There's something really intimate about this idea of everybody knows we're here for a good time. This is somebody we love. Let's have a good time, and it's very. Trying to think of the ways to describe it that won't get me in trouble with my bosses, but that you know where I'm going with
Yeah,
that.
it's like euphoric. Like when you get
Yeah.
out there, it's like, and also I would even say like a little therapeutic. It like really is just you get out there, and when people just have permission to laugh again, and just feel like you're with people, and the world is back in a way that you've missed for a long time, and just that human touch. It's
Mhm.
been really, really cool to get in front of people and do it. And I hear it from everybody, like after the meet and greets and whatnot, or when I'm seeing people in these towns when I show up, it's just people are appreciative that you're coming through and doing the thing, and reminding them for an hour that life isn't that bad.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard you talk about meeting some of your fans on this tour and things, and you've shared some of the experiences of how you've always been you. You have never been a character since the time that you've come into all of our lives as fans. You've been Joe,
Yeah.
just Joe. So we do feel like we know you. That's why I'm really giddy about this interview because it's like, man, 11 years I've been watching you on television, everything you do, following you on the socials. So just can how is has that been getting like I know you kind of touched
Yeah.
on it, but really what has that been like the meat and potatoes of
It's
getting to meet people?
it's weird because like imagine, because from my point of view, I'm meeting you for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So from your point of view, you've seen me over 300 episodes of television, over a decade of my life. You've seen me grow,
Mhm.
over years. Details about my life, because I'm pretty open, and tell about my struggles with everything, whether it be it bullying growing up, or be it how to deal with family dynamics and divorce and whatnot. So like there's been a pretty open book that way. So it's kind of hard to you come into it knowing a lot about me, and I'm just like, hi. So people try to catch me up real quick. And it's interesting. Like the first sentence out of a lot of people's mouths, like, oh my God, like my mother died. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, but you got me through it. Like, I'll hear all these stories about how my comedy has been there for people, and people are just so open with me. And I just appreciate that, because there's a relationship there. You know, people really feel like they know Joe, and I'm not playing like Chandler on the show. It's me. So I really do appreciate that. And I will say it's weird. It like really is just a weird thing. I don't think a lot of other people in the public eye have in that same dynamic as me and the guys do. It's like just a, you know, you've seen us, you feel like you know us. You know, people like, you're not, you don't look as fat as you do on TV. And I'm like, thank you. You know?
Oh yeah, I meant to tell you on the Zoom call, you look really good.
It's only one camera, so you know, there's only 10 pounds added, not the normal 60 with the 6 different hidden cameras.
Gotcha. I was gonna say down to 6 cannolis a day now.
That's right. That's right. Good half dozen.
Well, speaking of those personal experiences, like, to get a little personal myself, like, you're right. Like, you and the boys, like, for me, it's been a show, like, in Practical Jokers, you specifically have always been my favorite, and my dad's
You're a man of
favorite.
taste. We know this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, listen, I grew up on Long Island, so I was like, this.
Oh, there you go.
That's the guy that I would like to go to a Mets game with. So when I watched you stealing kids' balls when Noah Syndergaard was throwing them, I was like,
worst moment of my life. Worst moment of my life.
Yeah, my fiance, but circling back to all of it, like, my fiance and I, when we first started dating, we were like, oh, you like Impractical Jokers? Oh my God, what's your favorite? And when we watched that episode together, she was just asking me, like, how do you think he feels? I was like, listen, I have been that person asking for balls before. I was struggling. That's why she was asking me, because I was just in the corner, like.
The worst part was I kept calling him Jeter. People were getting so mad at me. Like, it's not Jeter.
How dare you? You're supposed to be a Mets fan. But yeah, like, but those connections, like, even with me, with you right now, like, that's the thing. Like, with my dad, I can call him and it's like, oh, did you see Joe's Punishment? Did you see this? Did you see the
that's
movie?
a big thing too, is like the family connection, right? It's a big co-view and family. So the thing that's not lost on me the most is I lost my father when I was young. I was 19 when he passed. And I always remembered we had so many bonding moments over watching television together and laughing and talking about comedy and watching like stand-up and stuff. I didn't get to watch too much with him because I was just coming of age when, you know, he passed. A lot of the stuff he was watching, I couldn't watch younger. But like, just I have so many memories being around the TV and laughing with my family and then talking about it and getting excited to watch together. So to be that for people is not lost on me. I know how important that is, especially being a dad too. So I you know, I'm super appreciative of this journey, and of course all my fans' support throughout it. So being a part of people's homes is just a really cool thing for me.
That's cool. Speaking of being a dad, we can kind of circle into this for a little bit. You actually host a podcast with your buddy who is on tour with you as well.
Yeah, that's right. Steve Byrne. We do Two Cool Moms. It's a podcast that been so much fun. We just did our 45th episode. It's been such a great format. So basically Steve and I both had mothers that had big personalities and gave great maternal advice, and we both think that we've inherited that trait. So it's called Two Cool Moms, and we spend the first half talking about, you know, stories about anything, you know, just chatting about our childhood or parenting or just anything. Actually, we've gotten into favorite cereals before, and it's been a dark hole. But and then the second half is actually interactive, where we fans submit questions and we help them with their dilemmas to the best of our abilities. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but it's always funny.
It sounds like a fun show. I actually was listening to your last episode a little while ago, just getting prepped. I was like, crap, how did I miss that Joe has 45 episodes of the podcast? I got some catching up to do. All right.
There you go. You got some time while you're driving to help you out.
Oh yeah. And I love taking road trips. So Berglund Center, Roanoke, Virginia. That's where you're going to be on April 13th. Before I let you go, I do have a few more questions really fast. Have you been to Roanoke before?
Roanoke. No, I have not been there.
No,
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I've been to Virginia a bunch, and I love Virginia people. So
okay.
I imagine it's some of the same.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be the same warm welcome that we always give everybody. But I was going to ask, because I know that you've been to Norfolk. I think you've been up in like Arlington in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have
Richmond,
a cool? Oh God, Richmond. Yeah. So then you must have a cool Virginia story, like something that sticks out on one of those trips.
I helped a lady that fell in Richmond, and she had tripped. She was a little bit older. I like going like shopping, like you know, on like, you know, the main street. I have some time normally when I get in town, and I'm pretty sure this was Virginia, actually. I think it was in Richmond. I'm 99% sure it was. So she had fallen And then I helped her up. Like she just stumbled or whatnot, but it wasn't a bad fall, but I helped her up, and she looked up at me and she went, Joe? Like she was so surprised. But then she like looked at me like judgingly, like, did you make me fall? Did you prank me? And I'm like, man, no, this isn't on me. You tripped. You stumbled.
Yeah.
I'm just being nice.
Oh my gosh.
But it was so weird that she looked up and she's like, thank you, Joe.
Yeah. What are the chances, right?
Yeah. And then she said, what are you doing here? Then I said, helping you up. I walked away.
Yeah, have a great one. Bye.
I was out. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's great. And then the last thing I got for you, because I have to ask this before I go.
Sure.
Speaking of Richmond, I got to see Clerks III when Kevin Smith toured it in Richmond.
Yes.
First off, when you and the boys came up on the screen, the place went crazy, but it really lost it with you because of the editing.
Yeah.
So I think all of us were unsure if you would pop up. And then there you were, and everybody really lost it at that point because it was like, there it is. There's all four.
Yeah.
But how did that come about? Like, were you just hanging out and Kevin Smith was like, hey, man, want to be in Clerks 3?
No, that came through my boy Q. Q is boys with Kevin Smith, and I have come to know him through Q over the past 6 or 7 years. Great guy, and they were filming in Red Bank, and Q had said. He had asked Q, he's like, hey, do you think the guys would do a cameo? I'm doing this fun bit where, you explain the bit to us. And we're like, absolutely. So when we showed up, he's like, just say anything. I don't care whatever you guys want to do. And just started improv. And I improv that thing about being divorced. And that I filmed that like 2 years before I got divorced because COVID happened, like whatever. So then when the news came out, and in props to Kevin, he actually reached out and was like, hey, is it cool if I still put that in there? And I was like, absolutely, man. It's no big deal. People know. So it's fine. But it was so cool to do that and be that, because I'm, when I grow up, I want to be a movie director. That's why I got into this business. That's what I'm moving my focus into now in 2023, writing and directing film. And I'm just a fan of him. Such a good guy. Tells a great story. Really passionate about the process. Respected in the community. So it was just a really cool thing to be a part of.
That's cool, and that's really cool that you're moving. That Cannoli Productions is now moving into the
yeah. Somebody did a Google search. Somebody did a Google search.
I try to be slightly professional sometimes. I get yelled at enough, like 99% of the time. Be more professional, but then I have that one little moment.
Did great.
But okay, I know I said that's the last one, but I got to know, is there anything you can tell us or tease us that you're working on that you're allowed to talk about?
No, nothing yet really to report, but everything is through really my Instagram, at Joe_Gatto is really where I really put out everything through there. And then of course the podcast, we're starting to do it live, which is fun. So
Yes.
we're going to be doing our first one in Nashville, which I'm really excited about, on February 6th, I think, which will be really fun to just get out there with Steve and do the live version of the podcast. But I really hope that people enjoy the podcast, because I really enjoy listening to it. And like you said, a lot of people don't know I do it. So it's called Two Cool Moms. You can just search for it on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's really fun, and I think people enjoy it. So I would say people should check that out.
I'm not a parent yet, but I just loved the banter you guys were having.
Yeah. It's really not about parenting at all. It's really just about, like, people writing about what could they do to make friends at work or whatever it is. Like, and we just give our best advice that we can. So
yeah. And who doesn't want life advice from Joe Gatto?
I mean, I'm crushing it, clearly.
Right. Berglund Center, Roanoke, Virginia, April 13th. Joe, thank you so much again for taking some time out of your morning.
Oh, this is great. Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime.